a check, and there we go, four-handed. Flop comes down, queen, ace, 7. So I've taken a piece of that with one heart on the table. Now, got a check, and amazingly, I get a check from the ace 10. So, very weak from the ace 10 there. Really, he should have bet. I've had a piece of that. Nobody knows what I've got. So, I decide it's $1 in the pot. I've decided to put 80 cents in. See what happens. Fold, and Ribot flat calls me. So, obviously, he's called me with something. Rainbow flop. Got to be careful here. So I'm thinking, right, alright, has he got the queen? Is that possibly why he's checked? So I'm leading here with regards to I've bet first, so I could represent the ace comfortably. I don't know he's got ace 10, obviously, guys. So if he's called me because he's got the queen, and that's the way I'm thinking here just now, I've got to be on my guard, obviously, to what happens next, but I've got to be careful how I structure my bets. So let's see what happens. Okay. And look at that, guys. 7's down. Amazing. He's checked. Alright. He limped in with ace 10. He's checked and let me bet. Right. With no action on the table. And suddenly I've got trip 7s. Amazing. He's shot himself in the foot. Now, if he'd led out there, very strong possibility I would have folded that hand. Depending on the action from here. I may have called a card just to see what happens, because obviously I've got two hearts, a heart there, and I've got to see the flop. But it would have put me to the test, and he didn't do it. So now I've got trip 7s, which is brilliant. And that's all down to a very weak play from Ribot. Checks to me. Obviously I've got the 7s now. 260 in the pot. Bang in $2. Bog standard. Flat calls me. The river comes down, 4 diamonds, neutral position. I believe I'm well ahead here. My opponent to play, check, 660 in the pot, standard, $5 bet into it, and Ribot, ATM, sorry mate, not being rude, but he pays me. I can't believe it. There you go. It's what happens at low stakes. In many cases, people will let you draw out to beat them, and if they're playing so passively like that, you get paid off. So there you go. Nice little pot. Thanks very much. Ribot lost $8, $9 in that hand. Okay, next hand. Here we go. 3-4 suited. Nice little trappy hand in late position. Fold. Myself to play here. Standard raise, 75, 3 times the big blind. Fold. And obviously you can see the ace 7 and the small blind calls me, which is fair enough. Big blind folds, we're now heads up. Flop comes down, and we've got ace, queen, 2. Okay, so I've got a gut shot there, as you can see, guys. Got 1 club on the table. Obviously I don't know what my opponent's caught, but obviously as you can see there, he's caught the ace. So let's see what happens. He bets 75 into a 175 pot. Gut shot. I've only got 4 outs technically to beat him here, but it's still very, very cheap. Okay, 175 pot and 75 in that. That's just very, very cheap. Worth having a wee look, which is what I do. Flat column. 3 comes down. Now my outs go up here. Okay, if he's caught the ace, which is, obviously he has, but if he's caught the ace, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, right, I've got 4 outs to my gut shot. I've got 2 outs to my trips, which I believe will win with, so that's 6 outs, and technically I may have the possibility of 2 pair, which would give me another 3 outs. So that's 9 outs to go to the river. To be realistic, in my head I was looking at 6 outs, wasn't looking at the 9, looking at the 6. Okay, so myself to play here. There's 325 in the pot. He bets 150. Look at that, 325. It's just so cheap. He's giving me the odds to call here enough. Now to call with 9 outs, I need 4.1 to 1 and 3.2. If I take his stack into consideration, I got enough there to call that. Obviously, if I take 3 off that, I probably need about 5 odd to 1. But again, his stack makes it attractive, and it is such a low bet. I mean, he should really be betting $3 into that to discourage me going for this. But 150, it's well cheap. He's not bet enough, and he's encouraging me to go, which obviously I flat call him, and I do. And there you go, guys. I hit one of my outs. I get my trips. Brilliant. And big mistake. He's just played it too softly. He should have played that a lot more aggressively than he did. So, checks to me, and myself to play. There's 6.25 in the pot. Obviously, he's nervous because I've called him on 2 bets. Bang in $4. I want to get paid here. I don't want to be going all in. I don't want to be doing like $7-8 here. I want to get paid, so Fox into a 6 is enticing him to call me. He's got the ace, and he calls me, and I get paid, which is very nice. And again, nice little pot. And well, $8 off that one as well. Thanks very much. Okay, next one. I'm in the big blind, 10.25. There we go, 9-10 suited, nice hand here. Now Sid here, this is actually a really good hand here. Sid has been playing very aggressively in position, okay, and I've yet to have a hand against him where I could actually call his raises. And most of the time he was raising either on the button or one off the button, the cutoff. Alright, and I wanted an opportunity to go up against this guy and just basically test his mettle. Now he's got $41 there, he's been doing pretty well, but it's all been down because he's been playing in position. So this guy knows what he's doing, and he's been stealing blinds and being quite aggressive when he actually started to raise. So let's watch what happens here. Sid leads out with $1, okay? So there you go, you can see what he's got there. He's got absolutely nothing, but that's the way he's been playing. He's been playing in position and basically forcing people to fold. Blind folds, I've got 9-10 suited. I'm already partly in there. It's going to cost me 75 cents to see that flop. Well worth paying to see it with that hand. So I flat call him. Flop comes down, and we've got King, King, 2 clubs. There you go. So I've got a 9 outer for my flush, but a very dangerous flop. Oh, I haven't got a clue what Sid's got, but if he's connected with that flop, i.e. he's got a king in the hole, then I'm going to have to be very, very careful here. So there's $2.10 in the pot. I checked, obviously, Sid. I want to try and keep this pot as low as possible to see if I can outdraw him and sneak it away from him. Sid, $2. He goes 150. Standard continuation bet. Alright, now some people in this position might try and test Sid and say, right, boom, bang him back with $4 or $5 to represent the kings, to try and win that pot there and then. If he's got the king, I'm screwed. So that play could be could backfire on me. So in this situation, I've got a 9 altar. I want to draw out to it nice and cheap. He's gone 150, and the thought pattern here was, I'm just going to flat call this. And that's going to make him very nervous on that flop if he hasn't got the king. Okay, so let's see what happens. Now there you go, guys. My club comes down. I've hit my flush. Really nice. Okay? I think I'm ahead here. But I am worried that Sid may have the king and maybe looking for his full house. That's the worst. I'm looking at the worst case scenario from somebody that has played in position, has played aggressively. So thought patterns here is I want to keep the pot low and make my move on the river, subject to that card being safe, in my opinion. Remember, he raised, so I'm looking for the danger cards here. If he's got, as I say, if he's got a king, with a, if he's got a king, ace, king, queen, king 10, whatever, I'm going to have to be very careful here. So I didn't want to push in my luck. So I do a dirty check. Now, I could have bet there easily, but if I did and he's got nothing, I lose any extra money in this pot. If I bet and he has got something really strong, he's going to come firing back at me way over the top, and then he's going to put me to the test. Remember, I've only got a 10 of clubs. If I'm really unlucky and he's got the flush as well with the higher cards, then I'm gobbed here. So trying to keep this pot sensible, but at the same time trying to encourage Sid. So let's see what happens. Sid checks back. Now that's a first sign of weakness. Okay, he's checked back on a flush flop with another card to come. So at this point, before the river comes, I think, right, he hasn't got it. Right, he hasn't got it, I'll make my move on the river. So thought patterns are along that line. And that card comes. Absolute bitch. Did not expect another club to come fleeing out, and that obviously puts a bit of